Just mentioned your willingness to study tape. Where does that come from?
It's an obsession. I've always kind of had an obsessive mindset with this. And coming in, my goal was to be, one of the hardest workers, if not the hardest worker in the country. And that goes beyond the court. And I heard that before I got to college, and they said film study is going to be a very big and important thing for me to do, so I jumped on that as soon as I could. James Long has been a great help in terms of learning how to actually break down film and do different things like that to, better prepare myself mentally for when these games start going.
Hard system to learn?
Not really. They try to make it really easy for you. Hugs always says it, just like any other playbook, if you don't know it, you don't know it. But once you do get a grasp of it, they try to make the game easy for you by putting the stuff that they put in.
Go ahead. Some of the passing, some of the instinctive things you do, creative things. Where does that come from?
Probably my personality. There's a lot of people that say, oh, he's got to tone it back. He's got to do it less fancy or whatever they say, however they say it. But really, like you said there, it is just instinct. I see things, it happens real fast, and when I make plays, I make plays.
Did you ever watch films of like Marathon or anything like that?
I started out actually watching Pistol Pete. That was something that my father and grandfather gave me. So I started doing his little homework basketball stuff, and I'm not sure if that's where it came from, but I guess that draws some comparisons from time to time.
How young when you started?
When I was about 5, 6 years old.
You do any of the obsessive stuff? I know you used to dribble a car going down the road or in a movie theater, things like that. You do any of that crazy stuff?
I used to bring my basketball everywhere with me to a point of probably annoyance for my family. You knew where we were at all times, whether we were in the mall or at a movie theater. I had it with me. I slept with it at times, whether that's weird or not. I don't know. That's just what I did.
What about in the basement, just bouncing off the wall, doing all that stuff?
Yeah, we had a cement basement when I lived in Marinette, and that's where I kind of got my start with the whole Pistol Pete thing. He'd flip on a DVD, I'd sit in front of it, and just try to do what he did.
You draw circles on the wall and try to throw behind back passes to it, things like that?
Yeah, we had a little tinfoil plate that I tried to hit. Yeah, I mean, the more you say it, I guess it was a lot of Pistol Pete stuff growing up.
Broken windows, anything like that?
Nothing crazy like that.
No light bulbs out or nothing broken?
No, Mom just hated when I dribbled in the kitchen, that was it.
You rather make a shot or assist?
You know what? Whatever helps us win a game. I try to, people always say, oh, he's a pass first point guard or he's a shoot first point guard. I'm just a point guard. Point guard tries to make the right play every time. That doesn't always mean it's the same thing. Guys that we got on this team, though, passing generally is the best option because they can, 1 or 2 dribbles or no dribbles and put it in the hole. So, what's
more satisfying along those lines, making a winning shot or making a great pass for a great play?
Great pass, at least in my mind. Guy like Issa running the floor, you throw it up and he goes and gets it. Gets people involved. It's fun to watch that.
Just into college, first of all, just being away from home, was that difficult?
Not really. I fell into a routine. That's kind of my personality. I got here and just decided that I'm going to put in more time than anybody else. And once I figured out, what I could do on a day-to-day basis, I kind of forgot, the fact that I was 10 hours from home. And if at any time I got to a point of being homesick, I just told myself this is home for the next couple of years, so may as well buy in.
You got a bunch of Twitter followers, a couple 100,000. When did that blow up for you?
I'm not sure. That was probably with all the youth stuff. I'm not sure when that all
YouTube
happened.
videos,
kind
maybe
of
something.
Over time, yeah. Over time.
What's the toughest part of adjusting to just college basketball? I mean, size, athleticism, all those things should be better. I mean, tough to adjust to or been smooth?
It's been pretty smooth. I think the first couple of weeks you got to realize your windows get smaller. The margin of error gets a lot smaller. That's what Nash, I talked to him right before I got on campus. Steve Nash told me the biggest thing that's going to happen is windows are going to get smaller, so learn how to make decisions, at millisecond faster. And he said that'll happen naturally for you. Just put yourself in situations where you're pushed, getting guarded by a guy like Tariq Phillip gets you ready real quick.
Because you got so many YouTube followers, things like that, people know you in Wisconsin. Did you find yourself coming here and being discovered a little bit more than were you able to lie low and people find out who you are once they see you play?
You know what? The people that do know who I am, they know where to find me. Other than that, I'm pretty much kind of hiding. You know, I'm in the gym or in my dorm room, so it's one or the other.
Well, what do you pass? Normally, when a freshman comes in, he has to get used to his team,
Yep.
team and his teammates. Do they have to get used to you to know the ball's coming? And
You know, in high school, I'd hit a couple guys in the face here and there, but you know, at this level, these are some of the best athletes and best basketball players in the country. The learning curve for them is real short, and you know, they know when it's coming now.
You mentioned Tariq. How much would it help to practice against older guys who are already graduated, been through it? What kind of advice did they give you?
They gave me loads of advice. You know, Tariq was one guy. Nate, Adrian's always around, and they're constantly giving me little pieces of advice. Actually, just walking over here to practice, Nate, gave me some things that he said, or I asked, what should I work on today in practice? And his advice really helps because they know what it takes to play for Coach Huggins. They know what it means to kind of put on for a state like West Virginia. So just trying to shorten that learning curve. That's all I'm doing.
I heard a knowledgeable basketball guy say recently that he thought you were the best passer he'd seen since Trey Young. And then going back to that all the way to Maravich. What does a guy like Trey Young mean to you and his year with Oklahoma? How do you view that?
That's obviously a tremendous, compliment to be talked about in that sentence right there with him. Trey's a great player. I kind of got closer to him throughout the summer working with a guy, Alex Basil, who he trains with out in LA. And I got to pick his brain a little bit, Trey's brain. And the way he looked at it was kind of going back on the whole point guard thing. Point guard tries to make the right play no matter what it is, whether it's the pass or shot. He's obviously known as a great scoring point guard. I think that kind of almost overshadowed his own ability to pass at times last year. And he was doing it the entire year. People just decided to talk about, the 40-point games instead of the 11 to 13 assists that he was, doing on a night-in, night-out basis. Will I be doing that? I'm not sure. I can't see into the future. But, what I want to do is just make my team better, and that's what he did. And, it kind of just takes care of itself. I think players that go into it thinking, I'm going to put up this, that, and this, they never reach their full potential because they're too worried about that instead of, let's go win games and enjoy it in the process. And that's my goal this year.
Kind of a double-edged sword for him because there was a bunch of people that loved him, and there were a lot of people that said, he's overhyped, he's too flashy, all that. What's your thoughts on that?
I think a lot of times it's because the people saying that can't do what Trey Young does. And I think that's where you get the whole, too fancy, too flashy, tries to make the home run play. And yeah, there's times you do have to dial it back, but, there's a reason there's, one Trey Young. There's a reason there's only, one whoever guy they're talking about that needs to dial it back. Their personality comes out in their game. And I think each person and each player, handles that a little bit differently.